What is up, everybody? You know, I always start these shows off by showing love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. Tonight, first and foremost, is going to be my friends over at HOUSECALL Pro. Guys, if you are looking for a CRM that can take care of everything that you need, HOUSECALL Pro is it. I know there's a bunch of amazing ones out there, but there's a lot of them that they are incredibly expensive. And a lot of you out there, if you're starting a business, you know, you're trying to figure out where to put money. I want to grow, but I have to do this. I need marketing. I got to buy a van. HOUSECALL Pro, you cannot beat what they offer for what it costs. That's just, it's point blank, period. When I first went to Beltway years ago now, when I saw they had HOUSECALL Pro, I'm like, we're going to have to ditch this shit. We're never, ever going to be able to grow using this basic software. And I say this all the time, but I'm going to keep saying it because I'm going to be a man of my word. HOUSECALL Pro did nothing but prove me wrong. They kept adding features, adding this, adding that, and it's absolutely amazing. So they have this new thing that is called Pipeline that is absolutely awesome. I don't know if I can even find it on the screen, but you can do your scheduling, your dispatching, your invoicing, everything you can do from inside of this app. Record your phone calls. The technicians can get all the information that they need on their side. Also, they can call text, so it comes from the office, so they don't have to worry about their phone number if they're not using a company phone. Even if it is a company phone, that way your customers are not bothering your technicians, 9 o'clock at night saying, my filter's dirty. So if you're out there and you are looking for a CRM, if you're still using pen and paper, this would be the one to check out. You can click. So I'm getting ready to have them change my link to make it a little bit easier. But right now it's down in the show notes. If you listen to the audio, it's also going to be in the show notes. If you click that, and the deal they're going to do is going to be the same as one of my other sponsors, which is going to be a free 14-day trial and then 50% off your first 2 months. So that's what the deal is going to be. We finally worked that out, but I did get them to make it shorter. So it is literally just housecallpro.com/HVAC Uncensored. So I think that's not in effect yet until like sometime next week. So just use the link in the description if it's something that you are interested in. So remember, work simpler and grow smarter. On to the next. We're going to do 3 tonight, but my next one, I'm going to talk about my friends over at CompanyCam. So once you get HOUSECALL Pro, the first thing that you should add is CompanyCam. I say this all the time, and this thing does so many more things than I can even tell you. It is packed full of features. The biggest thing, and if it was the only thing that it did, it would be worth it, is the fact that it catalogs all the pictures and the videos inside of the app, keeps them all organized. And if you have to send them to a customer, it has professional templates to be able to send it so it looks professional, before and afters, all that kind of stuff to step your game up when it comes to your customers. I get sick and tired of going to look through my photos and my videos, and all I have is, furnaces, data plates, and, the days you have to sit there and spend all the time to go through deleting all that shit. Well, those days are over. CompanyCam takes that away. You don't have to use your own phone storage. It keeps it, you know who did it, what time they did it. It geo-stamps it, everything. It also can take the pictures that you can use them to help you when it comes to marketing, if you want to put them online and all that kind of stuff. And guys, check this out. Like I said, it does so many more things than I'm telling you. It's absolutely amazing. And I am so happy that we added this on to HOUSECALL Pro. It is absolutely amazing. Once again, go to www.companycam.com/HVAC Uncensored. Get a free 14-day trial, as well as getting 50% off your first 2 months for being a part of HVAC Uncensored Nation. Last but not least, actually, I'm only going to do 2 tonight because I got an amazing guest that I'm trying to get to. So let's get this pledged so we can fucking rock and roll. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States. And thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr., and here we are finally on Hump Day. Third show this week. It has been an amazing week. Not going to get used to this 3 shows a week stuff. I'm getting old and I'm fucking tired. But anyway, it's been a blast. Hopefully you guys have been able to check out all of the shows. I'm using a different camera, so let me change this fucking microphone around. But I'm super excited about the show tonight. Obviously, this show was booked a little while ago. Some things happened, and obviously, she could not come on. But I am super impressed by this this guest that I have on, and we've talked about all the things that she does is absolutely amazing. Her passion towards the industry is infectious, and I'm so happy that I got to meet her and call her a friend. It sucked that we didn't get to spend more time with her and her husband in Chicago, but shit happens. So I'm super excited to do that tonight. So guys, please put your hands together and help me welcome the 2024 HVAC Tactical Lady of the Trade winner. What's up, girl?
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. I know you're a busy woman, so I don't know how you found time to do this or do half the stuff you do, but I thank you for being here.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. This is actually the one that I was super excited to come on. Yours is fun. You got fun stuff going on over here.
Oh, thank you.
Something to look at.
Trying to switch it up. Everybody makes fun of me. They're like, you're not going to be able to fit any more fucking sponsors on the screen, Gil. And I'm like, don't worry. This is it. I don't take any more. But how do you turn down VETO? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The Cadillac of tool bags. Plus,
for sure,
I'm going to be giving this away. So
woohoo. Nice. But, I love those ones. Is that the one with the hard handle?
Yes.
So I love that one.
Yeah. This is the TPLC. So the one. And granted, I know that I'm not in the field every day, but the one that I have my tools in is the TPXXL. I love that bag. That bag is awesome.
Tech MC.
Oh,
it was actually, when I was 7 months pregnant, I installed my last of my pregnancy Wiesmann boiler. And it was 199 kBTU, and Val and I hung it, just the two of us. And so after that, they put me on bed rest. So I was really pissed off about it. And Val went and got me the Wiesmann edition MCT VETO bag.
Oh.
And it's like the Hermes bag of girl techs.
The Tech MCT is pretty badass. I'm pretty sure that's Jason. Isn't that the one that you got? Because I got a bag for Jason and I think Nate. And I think that's the one Jason Johnson got. He got the blacked out one.
They're really good. They're really good. It's hard for me to carry it around. That's why I was so excited about getting the backpack from the Tactical Awards. But it's definitely my favorite bag. It's the one I keep all my tools in.
Yeah, I have another one of those book bags to give away, but it's the the camo one. It's not from the award show. It's just a bag they gave me to give away. So I got to do that as well. But I love doing it with VETO because if you go back all over the years, that's why it was kind of an easy sponsorship and talking to the president, because all the VETO bags that I've given away, I bought those with my own money. Nobody gave those to me. And a lot of times I'll say it's from Bluon or I'll say it's from a sponsor, but I buy them.
But it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm using sponsor money, so I guess I could say that. But
even so, it's still your money.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, and I get it. There's a lot of people out there. Most of the people I know that knock VETO, it's because they haven't tried one. They don't have the money to buy them. Yep. And I get it. They're not cheap. They are the Cadillac of bags. So that's why I love giving them away and being the first person to get it in their hands. And they're like, oh my God, this thing's fucking amazing.
Yeah, because it really is. I can't imagine. So I was kind of that way. It was I had a DeWalt backpack that I really, really loved. and it was heavy. It was super fucking heavy. And VETO bags are heavy too, but they're heavy in such a different way. And they think of it too, like with the backpacks, the front strap, the chest strap, it's positioned in such a way that it doesn't matter how tall you are, how thin you are. It's like positioned perfectly to take all that weight off your back. And I love it.
Yeah, because when you go to pick it up, like that book bag, and it'll feel heavy as hell, but then you put it on your back and it's not that bad.
Right.
But that's what makes them quality. And the thing is people, and I was the same way. I have one of the book bags back there. And I said I was going to give it away. It's just, it's used. It was mine. So I feel bad giving somebody a beat up used bag.
People still love them.
Yeah.
They last a million fucking years.
They do. And that's why I tell people. So that bag's going to last a minimum 5 years because of the warranty.
Absolutely.
No bag you go buy at Home Depot cheaper is going to last 5 years. So
no.
Rookie said, bite your tongue, no yellow and gold, team red.
I'm actually a DeWalt girl. I love M12, the M12 series, Milwaukee, but like I've been DeWalt from day one. I don't know what it is. I just love them. They're lighter too. Like my little M12 drill is super, super light, I will say. But otherwise, I'm just DeWalt through and through.
Almost said it.
I almost said it.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, and that's what I tell people, like, I am Milwaukee only because once you get into an ecosystem, it doesn't make sense to switch. So once you're there, it is what it is. They're both good products. Yeah. That's the whole reason it's even a conversation.
I mean, I use both for sure, but when I first started out, I was super poor and DeWalt was all I could afford. And then they all lasted me. So I just kept buying them,
That's awesome. I guess Rookie's feelings are hurt. He said, unfriends, Jen.
As funny. If Rookie could ever unfriend me.
Yeah. Come on. Shut your mouth, Rookie.
Shut your hole.
And Rookie, I try to send him free shit and the damn dude won't take it. So, just kidding.
I might have to capitalize on that.
Yeah, hey, that's fine.
If I send it, he can't say no.
I try to spread the wealth and give things, man, especially to friends. I rather do that. I can only use so many tool bags or vacuum pumps or, you know what I mean? It's so I rather help people. I know they're going to use it. The only thing that sucks about vacuum pumps is they cost so much to fucking ship.
Stop sending them. Yeah. I give them to my students. I have one student that is actually, I think he's my only one that's like closer to me than Boston. The rest of them all are Boston or further away, and Outlaw HVAC actually. And he needed a recovery machine. So I was like, come up and get it. If you drive here and get it, you can have it. And sure enough, he did, but shipping them, no way.
That's awesome. Speaking of that, all of your students, something that I would love to do, and we're live and we didn't talk about this beforehand. I would love to do a VETO giveaway for your students.
They would love that.
Yeah, so
they would absolutely love that.
Yeah, so you can figure out how to do the details or however wins and let me know and I'll ship it to that person.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Gil. I have a bunch of my students watching right now. You hear that, guys? They're probably all freaking the fuck out right now.
Yeah, and we won't
they're always telling me to give them mine.
Yeah, we won't do a little bag. We'll do a bigger one that fits all your tools. So we'll make it a good bag. So
thanks so much, Gil. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So I guess if people have been living under a rock and they don't know who, Jenn Manzo is, let everybody know a little about you, girl. Because there's things I don't know that, you already said.
So the standard version is I am a mom of 6. No, I did not birth them all, but they are all mine legally. I have a company in Maine called Ballerini Air Conditioning. I started out as a service tech and install helper, and I'm now an engineer, VP, and own my own engineering firm as well. With my husband, Val, who everybody knows, and he's here. He'll come say hi in a minute. But yeah, so Val and I own it, and we have one employee right now, and that is our son, our 23-year-old son. So we're pretty stoked about that. Nice. We're about to be grandparents in June. And at 35.
Oh my Lord.
But I am an MIT alumni and I own HVAChicks Coalition, which is a free training coalition and resource location coalition that started out for women in HVAC, but has since completely outsourced to everybody in HVAC. And also we own a tech support line as well as 7 free.
Don't you have a tattoo shop too?
We do have a tattoo shop and a commercial garage.
Jesus, that is awesome. Yeah, I was showing you guys my ink that I finally got the sleeve done. I'm gonna start going on the other arm here soon.
Done when we were talking earlier. It looks so good. And we own
you.
actually in our office building. So we got a new office building. So for 4 years since COVID, we have owned a free homeschool for our community. Our kids go to it, and we have 10 kids total. So we have other community kids that come to it as well. And we were able to move that here. So we have like an actual school building now. And that's all
awesome.
free too.
That's awesome. And that's amazing. All the stuff that you guys do, you and Val together. And I will say this, and I said it before, you were 100% deserving of Lady of the Trade Award. Congratulations. I knew you won that, but I couldn't say anything. That was only one of the ones that I didn't know any other ones, but that one I knew. And I'm so happy for you because you definitely deserve it.
I really appreciate that. And it's funny because it started out like I didn't even know about any of this until last year. And last year I decided it was going to be like my life's work goal. It was going to be like at some point in my career, I'm going to get Lady of the Trade, and that's what I'm going to work for. And then I got it the first year. So now I'm kind of like, well, where do I go from here? And I was the first award called at the award show. So it was like, I'm glad that I didn't have to sit there and like, boom, boom, boom. But at the same time, I was blindsided. And honestly, so one of the other nominees is one of my girls. She's an HVAChick. Her name's actually Rachel. They put her up there as Brittany, but there's reasons for that. But anyway, so Rachel is a killer tech. She is the owner of her company. She's like 20 something and she's amazing. She goes out there every day and she's working as the owner, like just absolutely kills it. I'm in love with this girl. I posted about needing baby clothes just because I didn't want to go out and buy new for my kid who was puking every 10 seconds. And she sent them from Texas. Like she sent them. It's just a beautiful community. And then I was able to meet HVAC install her too, Rochelle, at the awards. And we were able to talk and whatever. Any one of us could have easily won that, really. Like, I think if it wasn't for my coalition, I probably wouldn't have. And that's why, like, I was trying to write a speech for so long and I just couldn't do it because it's not me. I don't do any better HVAC work than these other two women. It's because I own a coalition too that helps so many people, I think. But yeah, it was a awesome night because at no point did I feel like I was given anything. It was like I must have worked really hard to have beat out these two awesome bitches,
And for sure. And that's what makes the award so much better when you receive it, is because you realize that people that you're up against are all deserving. Like when I won mine and I'm up there against Brian Orr and then Tersh and Josh. I've been friends with Tersh for years. So I was like, well, it's cool being nominated. And you know, and when they said my name, I was fucking shocked. I mean, and that's like no joke. I did not think that I was going to win, but obviously that's why when I got up there, I didn't even know what to say. Like somebody with a big mouth who always talked. Yeah.
Right. That's what I was saying. I was like, I had the shortest speech out of everybody. How'd that happen?
Yeah, it was.
But I will say, I'm really glad that Tersh and Josh won this year. And it's so funny how these awards work because they're perfect. Every year, it's exactly who should have won. And then the following year, it's exactly who should have won. And that's kind of what happened this time. Like Tersh and Josh, I think just weren't quite there yet, and you were. And then this year, that's when they got there. And we were nominated. Misfits were nominated in our first year. And I was like, no fucking way. Are we walking out of this with that? And I was just so glad to see Tersh and Josh win that. I think that was amazing. And it was awesome to see you give it to them, I think, for me.
Exactly. That handing that, and I love Josh, but me and Tersh have been good friends for a long time. Tersh helped me get going. Yeah. And the whole backstory. Yeah, when it comes to him. And handing him the award meant just as much to me as winning my own. It really did. Because I told Ben, I'm like, if they don't win this award, I'm calling his fucking name anyway. And the funny thing is before I opened the card, I started saying Tersh's name beforehand. So thank God his name was on there.
Everyone else is lucky. You would have been fine.
Yeah, Ben would have been like, what the fuck is he doing? I'm like, hey, I know this has somebody else's name on it, but here.
It doesn't matter. We don't care. It's like when Steve Harvey called the wrong fucking Miss America or whatever it was.
Oh, yes. That's funny. Somebody else was just talking about that. Damn, we got a whole bunch of people in here tonight. But yeah, no, you were definitely.
I can't even see it. Who do we got?
Let's see. Let's call some people out here.
Call them out.
East Coast, your husband, your second husband, Ryan Hughes. Nasty HVACR, Mr. HVAC Rookie, Let's see, Mr. Brian Sanders. Let's see, keep going. Now there's some names.
All my usual suspects.
Yeah, Mr. Chris Young, Mr. C. Young. I'm pretty sure I saw Sam Andrews in here. Jason Johnson. I know I missed somebody.
Nice.
Let's see. Who else did I? Yeah, Steve, Everything HVACR. Neil C. Vids. HVAC Nate, which is Nathan Christensen.
Everybody's here. I love that.
Yeah,
Thanks for showing up, guys.
I can't read either. This is pretty bad. All right. If I missed your name, I'm sorry. Oh, Just Work is here. I'm trying to get everybody. I feel bad. Tom Soka. So I think that's how you pronounce it. Is here.
Yeah. I don't know. I always say it Sosha.
Yeah. That.
I never talked like
what she
about
said.
it out loud.
So this is curious. So I'm curious to know this. Obviously, you guys know she's, one of the hosts of the Misfits of HVAC podcast. How did that come about? How did you guys say, like, let's start a podcast?
Yeah, so we didn't. Ryan is the entire blame for that. So I had watched Ryan obviously for a long time, but I didn't know that he knew who I was in any way. And I got a message from him just saying, hey, I want to start this podcast. Is there any chance at all that you would want to be on it with me? It would be me and Kraus. And I didn't know who Kraus was, but I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? Like, let's do it. And so our first episode was when we met. That was like the first time we really talked. And it was just the two of us because Kraus didn't show up. And we just have a chemistry that I don't know how it happened, but it's just perfect for us. And we just work. We click.
That's awesome. Yeah.
One of my best friends by far.
Yeah, Hughes is a good dude, man. I'm glad I got to see him this year. It's just funny. I remember when he first started and I saw him in Vegas. And it's funny, when he saw me and he did his did his video of the Tactical Awards, and I think he had the best behind the scenes video that was put out that year. But it was awesome. Like, it's funny when I first meet some people and they see me like I'm somebody special, like, oh my God, it's skill. Like, hey man, like I trust me. I just put a microphone in front of me. I'm not special by any means, but I appreciate it. Like this year I had somebody ask me to sign something. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
I did too. It's creepy.
Yeah, I'm like, let's
actually said no.
Picture. Yeah, like I'm like, this ain't work. I got chicken scratch, man. Like I was ready to print that shit. Like, Gil. Yeah, exactly.
I've been thinking about it since I said no. And I wasn't saying no in a rude way at all. And I think I handled it really well. I was just like, hey, how about this? How about instead you give me your autograph? Because that is how I feel about it. Like, that's how it feels. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I was like, no, it's not you. It's me. Like, and like at the symposium, like I was only at the symposium for like literally a few hours. I flew to Florida for 12 hours from Maine. Like, it was insane. So I'm at the symposium for like as long as it takes to do my women's panel. And as I'm walking in, somebody literally was like, Jenn Manzo's here, like yelling it. And I was like so fucking embarrassed. And I'm like, I better get over that. Like,
but it feels good. My family makes fun of me. Like when I go to AHR or something, they're like, oh, Dad's going to his old men convention where he's important. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
My kids didn't believe it. Like, they didn't believe it. And now they're like they'll see like YouTube ads and stuff with me in them. And they're like my oldest daughter is 17 and she's the first one to make fun of me because I had her when I was 16. So we're a little closer, So she comes in, she's like, excuse me, you did not tell me the level of famous that you are. And I'm a little bit upset about it because now like I'm embarrassed by you. And I'm like, oh, well, just don't like go over to the HVAC side of things. She's like, you're everywhere.
And that's awesome. And like you said before, like I love this community. I feel like right now is the strongest this community has ever been. Because it used to be when I first started, and it's crazy to think that I've been podcasting for 10 years. When I look back, because it says 5 seasons, but if you look at the episodes, it doesn't add up. And I don't know why I did seasons. I should go back and just change them all the numbers. But I was thinking about it and I was like, I started this in 2018. I'm like, but then I did the one before. I'm like, holy shit. Like it's
Plus
been
the Facebook stuff you did.
Yeah.
Which goes back even further. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think it's been that long. But I remember when I started, it was YouTube. YouTube was the thing. You had to have subscribers on YouTube. And the community was kind of tight knit. But to be honest, it felt like some people wanted you to do well, but then when you did good or surpassed them, then all of a sudden there was a problem.
Absolutely. Fair weather
it,
friends.
exactly. It was kind of weird. But then, opening up the Instagram, like TikTok, like it was a whole new world. I met all these amazing people and it's been awesome. And I always say this, like going to AHR, and I'm going to the symposium next time. I wish I would have went this year.
You got to do it.
Yeah, I definitely have to.
I'm going there, and like literally the way I feel about it after just going there for that short amount of time, everything else can fuck right off as far as I'm concerned. Like I will be on that stage to pass off my award at AHR, and then I'm going to the symposium.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, no, I definitely have to go, and I've been saying, and I haven't, but and I talked to Brian.
I think you specifically would really like it. It is such a different feel. It's so much smaller than AHR, but it's the same deal. Like it's only our stuff still,
Yeah.
And then like everybody that you see is your friend. And that's what I really loved about it. Like even during the women's panel, there were, 4 or 5 of us women up there, and the entire like main tent was full. It was like people were crowding in. And like there's a picture posted to my Facebook actually by Alex Meany, and he's like, I don't want to like take away from the women, but this is a picture that I took just so you could see these men taking pictures of you guys and like how much energy they had because of the panel you guys just did. And it's literally like 40 men like this,
That's
and
awesome. Standing
up and clapping. And that's just the women's panel. So now imagine everything else. And it's so educational and everybody's so great. And it was like the anxiety that I felt at AHR was completely gone. And it was the same people. It's just a smaller situation, and not as much work. And I didn't feel like I had to be as fake, I guess it is a lot of it.
So yeah, no, that's awesome.
It's a good
That's about me is what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I try. That's one thing that I appreciate when people say, "Oh, you're exactly how you are on the podcast as you are in person."
That's what I love about you too.
Oh, thank you.
Like meeting you at AHR. So like I had super bad anxiety, and everybody knows this. I was not doing well at the awards specifically. But like I saw you and Scott, and I was like, okay. And it was like my brain was going, okay, like safe people. That's because there's just so many people there.
Yeah.
But it was definitely nice to see you and have you be the same.
Oh, well, it sucks. And then talking to Scott, realizing apparently you guys were staying like right across the street from where we were. I'm like, fuck. And I didn't know you guys were leaving. And the night that I guess you guys were going to bowl or something like that, the only reason we didn't, and Scott will tell you, is normally I take gummies at night to go to sleep because I've always been horrible at sleeping. Obviously, I forgot to take. Well, I thought I forgot to take them, but I actually had some in my suitcase. I didn't realize it until I got home. But anyway, I smoked weed with some guys there, and I'm like, I'm only gonna take like 2 hits. I don't want to like go
and
nuts.
Then you're useless.
Oh Jesus, I was fucking dunzo. I was just like, I was sitting there eating that fucking popcorn on the table at Tertius thing, like, by myself, just smashing this popcorn.
I can picture it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, so it was like super last minute because we were supposed to do the HVAChicks meetup that night, but I had double booked myself because I had the takeout party that I had to go to, which was fun, but it was a little stuffy, but it was fun. I mean, it was for the older people, obviously, but I got like Steve Rogers out there, and I took Abe, the mulleted plumber from Instagram, with me. And then, so we did that. And then it was so icy out that we were like, we're not doing shit. And we got back to the hotel room, and Abe was staying with us that night, and everybody called and they're like, we're still up. And I was like, all right, there's a bowling alley and a bar like half a mile away. We can make it. And we started walking, and it was so slippery that we turned around and went back and got the car.
Yeah.
But it was only supposed to be like 3 or 4 people showing up. And when I was on the phone with Scott, I told him, I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, it's not a big deal. And then like 10 people showed up, and it was super fun.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
But yeah, I had Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I only had Monday of AHR. I had like the awards, but I only had Monday of AHR. And then the same thing happened with Florida. I got there at 4:00 at night on Friday, the second to last day of the symposium, and I had to speak the next morning at 8. So I got there at 4 p.m, went out for a little while that night with everybody, and then went to bed in my Airbnb, got up at 6 a.m., packed all my shit, went to the symposium, stuffed all my shit at Steve Rogers' TEC booth, went in and spoke, and then got on another plane home. Literally, it was that quick. So next year, I'm going to plan a lot better so that I get more days.
Yeah, it happens. And that's what we did this year. We flew home Thursday just because that way, Because otherwise Wednesday gets to be useless because you got to take your check out of your hotel and all that kind of stuff. So I'm starting to
Right.
learn as I go. But I'm definitely going to go to Symposium. I talked to Brian and he was like, dude, if you want to do a panel, if you want to do something, like just let me know. And that's awesome for Brian to say
Yeah,
that.
you can podcast from there too. The
Yeah.
Misfits were supposed to, but I didn't get, so we had our podcast was scheduled for 4:00 and I was supposed to call Ryan in, and they're just little half-hour podcasts, but they have a whole room set up and like they shoot it all and it's awesome. But I got there at 4:15 and our podcast was at 4. So
Oh,
well,
shit.
fuck. But yeah, you
Yeah.
can even, so like you could have an episode of Uncensored from there. That's really awesome.
That's sweet. Yeah, no, I'll definitely have to try to do that because that's something I want to do in the new year, especially whenever I get the new studio. Is I'm trying to build it out so I can start doing more technical stuff because the podcast kind of takes care of itself now. But I want to do more technical training and videos and stuff like that. And I feel like I never did. And one of the people who helped me is Craig Migliaccio. He's become a really good friend of mine. Me and Craig talk all the time, and
He's really a wonderful guy.
yeah, when I see people like him do their videos and I'm like, well, he's really good at this. So why would somebody watch me if you have him? And he's like, yo, because people like you, your personality. And even though it's the same information, maybe they want to hear it from you. And just talking about that, I'm like, oh, well, I guess that makes sense. Because I was I'm not in the field
they
anymore.
have exactly, but neither is Craig. I mean, like they all have their own things. And like, so I have them all for sponsors for HVACchicks. So I use their trainings in my training plans. And so I'm training, like say I'm training this guy named John and I'm using 2 of Ty's videos today, a lesson that I made and a lesson from SkillCat. And that's his training for today. So like I get to watch all these guys' videos constantly and they're all so different. It's the same information. You're just learning them from different people. Like I learn better from people like Craig than I do listening to an HVAC school podcast or whatever it might be. So people just learn differently from different styles of teaching. And it's the same with kids. Like I have kids that, are in 11th grade and never learned to read. And it's like, how did you get pushed forward? But how is it even more so, how in 1 year in 11th grade did you learn how to read? And it's just because they learn better from somebody like me. So the more people teaching this stuff, the better, for sure.
Yeah, no. And I've came to realize that. So I definitely want to get that going to be able to do it. Plus it's fun and I like doing that. And I'm trying to teach my oldest son. Not that I don't want him to do HVAC. I don't want him to do it because I do it. I want him to do it because he wants to do it. So he keeps trying to come work for me. And I'm like, no. I'm like, go do something, go fail. And then you come back and I'll teach you this.
And then when you're like, okay, I really want to be here. Yeah. So my oldest son is 23 and he climbed towers for a living for years, like repaired cell towers all over the country. Like he's a traveling cell tower mechanic and that's what he is. And he had it go slow for a few months and he's got a baby coming now and like all this stuff. And he finally came to us and he said, okay, I'm ready. I want to do HVAC. And we're like, okay, that's it. Like, but if he had come to me at 18, I would have been hesitant. I would have been like, you're doing this because it's an easy way out. And I don't want that for you either. I'd love to have somebody to leave this company to, but not at the expense that I forced you into something that's going to make you unhappy for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah, very true. So how did you get into the trade in general? Like, how did you get into HVAC?
So I have been with Val since I was 18 and Val's always been in the trade his whole life. He started at like 13 pushing a broom around the shop. Like he's literally always been HVAC. And when we got together, I started learning about it and I was right there in the thick of it. His brother also worked at the same company at the same time. His family's just all HVAC. So I, at first just started by being a wife of, and then as he went out on his own and started his company and needed helpers all the time and people weren't reliable. And I just started going out and doing it. And then after I was a helper for like 14 years, I was like, okay, or 12 years, I was like, all right, I'm going to look into this. And so I was looking for VOC online lessons to teach my kids HVAC at homeschool. And I found SkillCat and ended up being their star student and being the first graduate from SkillCat. And now they're influencer and we work together. I do their TikTok, all that stuff. But they gave me a real shot. And so once I got my EPA and graduated with my trade school diploma, I was like, that's it, I'm all in. And Val left the company he had been at for over 2 decades. And we went to a company that would hire both of us and let him train me, which was amazing at first, until I realized the guy I was working for was a misogynistic asshole and who basically fired me because his girlfriend didn't like me.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, it was pretty bad. After telling me I couldn't wear leggings to work because I'm a girl. But there was a whole slew of really disgusting things that went on there.
I wear leggings every day.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else loves when I wear leggings.
Right.
But yeah, so we ended up leaving and we both looked at each other and we're like, what are we going to do? Like, no other company is going to hire both of us. What do we split ways now? And I go teach HVAC and you like, what do we do? And we're just like, fuck that. So we went full time for our company. And it's just been amazing ever since.
Awesome.
Best decision we ever made by far.
That's awesome. So when it came to Val doing tattoos, was that kind of like just like a side gig or a passion, or?
So his dad is kind of a jack of all trades kind of guy, and he owns a tattoo shop that happens to be connected to my house. And so his dad owns a bunch of houses here. Val and all of his brothers live here, and now my family moved here too. My mom moved up here 2 years before she died, so she was able to be here with us. And my brother actually still lives here with us as well. So everybody just kind of has their own house, but we're all on one family commune, compound. So the tattoo shop happened to be attached to my house when we moved up here. So when Val and I got together, we lived in the city. We weren't here. We moved back here just when we had kids and, better place to raise them, that kind of stuff. So Val was like sitting in with his dad, just watching, and Val's always been an incredible artist. And so he got his license one day and that was all she wrote. So he just loves it. That's just what he likes to do.
That's sweet. Well, hey, tell Val when I do this arm or somewhere, he's got to tattoo me. He's got to
come on up. He would love that. He's responsible for every tattoo I have on my body.
That's awesome. See, if I was married to a tattoo artist, I'd be in here with like face tattoos and shit. Like, oh, there you go. There you go.
I have both sides. Oh yeah, I have face tattoos. I have everything tattooed, basically.
Yeah. We got this little one on my, you can't see it on my finger. It's a little cross that we got.
I can see it.
Yeah, on my son's 18th
I have a zipper.
birthday. Oh, that's sweet.
Sorta.
Yeah, I always joke and I say, yeah, that's where that's my line to line up where I hold my cigarette, like.
Yeah, it's perfect. Actually, my sister-in-law and I, on her 21st birthday, she's a lot younger than me, and on her 21st birthday, she wanted to get a mustache. So I was like, all right, you get a mustache and I'll get a zipper. So now we just walk around like this.
That's fucking funny. That's funny. Hold on. We have somebody asking a question. Let me see. Where'd it go? HVAC Nate says, Jen, what kind of HVAC system do you have in your own house? And did you pick that one?
Very, very good question. So in my house, I live in Maine, mind you, and I live in Lakes Region, Maine. So we've got our own climate here, and it's a little bit different than Maine's typical climate. It's a little bit colder. So I actually have 100% wood for my primary heating source. I also have forced air, York Diamond 90, just because it's there. We don't use it a lot. And then I have 2 Rinnai monitor heaters, and I have a ventless fireplace. And most of the time I use wood. That is my primary. But recently, since I've been so busy, I've been running the Rinnais. And actually, I have a 7-bedroom giant massive house, and the 2 Rinnais and the ventless will heat it all day long, which I wish I had known before I spent $1 million in propane.
Oh. That's
what I have in my house. And then in my office, you guys will laugh at this because this is absolutely fucking ridiculous. So I moved in here, right? And there's like a unit heater in the warehouse. And those of you who haven't seen my office, I'll post a video in the Uncensored group because it's fucking massive and it's cool. So in the warehouse, I have a unit heater, like a Modine, regular unit heater, which I found out after I moved in does not work. So I'm looking around this place, like, where's the heat at? Where's the heat at? And the front 2 offices are the only places with heat that is actually like in the building, and they're electric baseboard. Well, I have an HVAC company with electric baseboard heaters, which is really embarrassing. So
hey, it works.
I got to do something.
You got Outlaw HVAC says, hold on, where did his comments go? Jen loves Crocs and is a vegan. And then who's Jen's lumberjack for her wood furnace? And then what else is it? She also loves Ryobi tools.
Oh, John. John's one of my students, and he's about to not be. um, no, so actually, the one I was talking about that came up and got the recovery machine is John. Nice. Let me just address all of that bullshit that he just fed you all. So, I will never be caught dead in a pair of Crocs. However, at the symposium, they made HVAC school Croc gibbets, and I was a little bit pushed to the other side. And then I saw them on Leilani's Crocs, and I shared them all over my social media, and she got a bunch of clout for it, so that's cool. But no Crocs, A. And B, I am a giant meat eater, and I only eat red meat, which is insane. Most people only don't eat red meat, but I only eat red meat. And then what was the last thing? Oh, Ryobi. Yeah. I'm just going to say a giant fuck you about that. And the lumberjack that splits my wood is me, myself, and I. Actually, for years, Val was so busy working and I was running this wood stove, homesteading, all by myself with a shit ton of kids. So I got really, really good at splitting wood. And now I'm actually super jacked from it. So
that's fucking awesome. So you guys have enough trees on the property and stuff that you can you don't have to buy wood. You have enough to self-sustain.
Yeah, no, we own a wood lot. We have a shit ton of acreage and we own a wood lot that we're actually trying to clear now. Val and I really want to build a house up there sometime and leave my kids the big house. So that's the goal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we never run out. We plant as much as we take.
That's sweet. That's cool. And that's what I'm trying to do now. So I live right now. I'm 10 minutes outside of Baltimore. Which is cool. Going to the Ravens games or going when I go to the airport, I can throw a rock at the airport property from my house. But in growing up around here and being so close, I want to get away. So the house that I told you that we lost, was an hour away from where I live. So it sucks. I'm going to have an hour, 45-minute drive to work, but whatever. I'm trying to get out and be away from the hustle and bustle a little bit. And I want to have a little bit more property to be able to do stuff. Maryland real estate sucks. $500,000 gets you a shack. So everything we're looking at has to be $800,000 and above.
And
I'm trying to explain to my son, I'm just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. 100%. So that's where I'm at too. So I grew up in the city part of Maine. And then Val moved me here when we got together 16 years ago. And I hated it. I fucking despised it. I was when do the buses come? I didn't have a license because I didn't need one. No, you're not still a student. You're fired. And don't make me start talking about putting diesel in our boilers, okay? Because I could right now, Mr. John. Oh yeah, we had a fiasco yesterday. Anyway, so it was I could live in a city where I could get to everything and that would be great. But now, even though my service area is technically 4 hours, a 4-hour diameter because everything is so far away, I have this whole town pretty much. Every 50 to 60% of my revenue as a company comes just from customer recommendations, in community groups. And I'm talking with zero advertisement without me saying a single thing about our existence. That's just my customers.
That's awesome.
So this whole town is mine. The next town over is mine. Our office is in the next town. People walk in, I own an HVAC company. Offices aren't really a thing, but they walk right into my door and they're hi, can you come fix my shit? It's awesome. It's so cool. But then we go all the way to Boston. We literally are close enough on the East Coast that we just go all the way to Boston. So Steve Rogers from TEC, his brother and his wife were having a hell of a time getting a new system installed. And nobody knew how to run a load calculation. They were going to replace what was there, which was two 2-ton systems. And so Steve said, can you just run down there and run a manual J for me? So I did. And the manual J came out at 1.5 tons for the whole house. And they had 2-ton systems. So they were dealing with a bunch of problems because of it. And instead of just having someone else come and do it from there, because they're in Boston, which is 3 hours away from me, we literally spent the week down there. We got it done, changed it out. We actually service them still to this day in Boston. So yeah, we have a huge service area, but it's worth it because my kids can go outside and stay out there until they want to come back in and nobody has to watch them and it's safe.
That's sweet. As a parent, that's amazing, Yeah. Because to be honest, my neighborhood is good, but I still have cameras and I'm heavily armed. So
exactly. Same here, but I'm not arming myself against people. I'm arming myself against fucking animals. We have bears that will come right into our backyard. They don't give a fuck up here at all.
Oh, Jesus. So you guys have what?
That's the only problem we have.
Black bears?
Yep.
Yeah, see, that's...
Yeah, and they're heavily domesticated because we've never, people can hunt them, but like people up here, it's a different feel. Like we're always protecting our land and protecting our animals and protecting the views. Like you're not even allowed to build a billboard in Maine. In the entire state, there is not one billboard because it obstructs the view. So like I took some pictures this morning of the mountain by my house. You're not even supposed to be able to see the mountain, but because the air is so clear and there's no light pollution, you can see the mountain. Like it's a beautiful place. I will never leave here, I don't think. And if I do, it would have to be for an equally beautiful place. It's just who I am. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to have to move to Texas or be in a city because everything that you have to do is, so far away. And I don't care. Like I'll fight that distance to the death.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's awesome. And I think that's, that's what I want. I want to be able to do that. And, kind of the way I grew up, because sadly, I mean, I'm far from old, but shit's different. You know what I mean? Like it's not the way it is, because how old are you? I'm supposed to
I'm 35.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to ask a woman how old they are. Yeah, so I'm 40. I'll be 41. So we grew up in the same era and it was just different. Yep. You didn't have to lock your doors. You could do it. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have to worry
Everybody
about,
watched each other's kids too.
Exactly. And
I hate it now. Like I go to the gas station, I got to take my baby inside. I remember so distinctly my mom just like getting out of the car and like looking at the lady next to her. And like, it was this unspoken, like, yeah, I'll watch your kids go. Like we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
It's everybody for themselves now.
Yeah. Neighbors busting my ass, like, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Don't tell my mom. I'm like, she's going to fuck me up even worse than you did.
Exactly.
And it's just different, but I feel like some of these little small towns, like they're still like that, and that's what I want to try to get to. The schools are a little bit better. Like my oldest son graduated from the same high school that me and my wife went to. And that school fucking sucks now. It's atrocious. It's a beautiful building. It's a beautiful school. It's rich in history, but it fucking sucks. And when some teachers, that I still know that taught me, they were like, Gil, move out of this district. And they were like, I'm retiring because I'm not trying to stay here anymore. Like this place is fucking bonkers.
It's a systemic thing with all public school though. It really is. And it sucks. Like you have to send your kids to public school. You don't really have a choice, unless you can homeschool them, which is a tough job. I can attest to that. And people have to work. We have to work 3 jobs now just to make ends meet, So public school as an institution, though, is the only institution that hasn't changed in 200 years. It's like we're changing banks, we're changing, stores, we're changing every other thing. Why aren't we changing schools? Terrifying, honestly.
We're teaching like useful skills, like, like I know nobody does that, but like, what an interest rate is, how to balance a checkbook, even if you don't actually do it anymore, still understanding how you do that, like useful skills. I mean, kids now, they're not even learning cursive.
Yeah.
What are they
we have life skills class. So like what we did is this year we were able, so I teach all of my kids together. I teach my 2nd graders with my 12th graders. It's such an awesome system to be able to do it that way. Like they all have their own separate work and what they're learning, but we do class discussions. We do like all of our activities are together, and it makes my 2nd graders really, really fucking smart. And it makes my 12th graders not think that they're 25 years old and should be on their own. And they keep that childlike persona, and it works out so well, especially with things like life skills. So like we got all of our academics done in the beginning part of this year. So now the rest of this year is mindfulness. It's life skills. It's learning STEM from like Ty Branneman's calling in on Wednesday, and he's going to teach my class, tearing down compressors or whatever it might be. And like Jim Bergman called in and taught them vacuum. Like I've got 2nd graders that know what vacuum is and how to reach it. Like
that's awesome.
Everything that we do is based on real life. We garden, we do Tai Chi, like we do everything that you could possibly imagine that you wish was in a school. And I have that freedom, but most parents don't,
My wife would love you. I got to introduce you to my wife. She would, it's funny because
I would love her too.
And my wife is such a private person. Like she hates that I post pictures, and she's that's how she is. But
the same way.
I have to ask this, and we were talking about it off air, and I know we're almost at an hour, so I don't want to forget is how in the hell do you do all this stuff? Like, how do you get all this stuff done? Homeschool your kids, run the company, the coalition, the podcast. Like, there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah. So I'm so glad that somebody that I actually want to answer that question asked me. So I'm going to give you guys the scoop here. Okay. I've touched on it a little bit, but I have never told you guys how I actually do this. So it takes help. It takes a lot of help from Val. Most of what I do alone, but it takes a lot of help from Val. So, okay. So I'll go through my week just quickly. So on Monday and Tuesday, I'm working out in the field or in the office, wherever it is that I'm needed that day. It's either for the firm or whatever. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm teaching from 11 to 4, but I work in the morning. After I drop the baby off at 8, I work from 8 to 10 or 10:30. And then I go get my kids, bring them to school. We teach all day. And then at 4, I go get my daughter. We all go home. We have dinner, whatever. And I do trainings on Wednesday and Thursday nights after working and teaching. And then on Fridays, I have the baby here with me while I'm teaching. And that's our last day for the school week. Then Saturday and Sunday, I'm working and doing all of my, whether it's articles I have to write or whatever it might be. But all throughout this, in any free hour that I have, I'm setting up trainings. So those trainings only go out once a month, but I have 310 students. So every day I am working on trainings and curriculum for school every single day. So whether it's, an hour in the morning while I'm smoking a cigarette and having my coffee, or it's an hour at night before I go to bed, I'm always working on training. And then throughout all of this time, I'm answering tech support calls. But so is Val, so is Dirk, so is Jimmy, so is Misty, whoever else is on with me, they have their days too. So there are days where I'm not answering. It's just my days that I'm answering. So that covers, and then Saturday nights I have the podcast. So Val, after we're both done working, Val and I will go get the baby, and then I'll feed the kids dinner. Val stays home with them while I do the podcast. And then I come home and I get her to bed, or I work on, again, usually articles or blogs that I have to write, sponsor content, things like that, and TikTok and Instagram, that kind of stuff. So basically I'm working on something from 6 to 7 in the morning until 12 to 1 at night. That's how I do it. But the only way that I do it is to split it up into days. And if I don't, things are weird a lot of the time, throughout the day, it might be okay, I had a free hour here, so I added this, but it basically is the routine, and that's the only way that I can do it. And honestly, I'm not doing it well right now. We took 2 months off of training for AHR and all that stuff. And SkillCat actually approached me. I got to meet the CEO of SkillCat in person, Rashir Shah, and he said, we're automating you because you need help and we can give it. So for absolutely nothing, they took my entire program and automated it on SkillCat. So half of my students right now, by the end of March, all of my students will be able to log into SkillCat and with their scholarship, and they'll be able to click HVAChicks and view all their training right there, which will be awesome from their cell phones. So right now I have to, we'll take John, for example, he's learning gas. So I say, okay, I'm going on here. I'm making John's trainings. I'm then looking through ties and AC Service Tech and TEC and whoever else's stuff, picking and choosing what goes with this week's training for John. And then I say this from SkillCat is going to go with his training from John. And then this graphic from JD Kelly. And then this is what you have to do. And I send it in an email. And I do that by hand for every single one of my 310 students every single month.
Shit, girl.
So something had to change, right? And so now we're automating, so I'll be able to literally click a couple buttons as opposed to doing all that for every student. So that should help a lot.
That's amazing. Girl, kudos to you, because that's fucking amazing. To do all that stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it also says a lot about you and Val, because one thing I can say about me and my wife is you have to have a strong partnership to be able to do stuff like this. Like you said, you cannot do it alone.
No.
So that's awesome to you guys. That is truly amazing, and what you do. And so people realize what, she gives for free, and all the stuff that goes behind that. That's amazing, because a lot of people say they want to do that stuff, but they don't do it. And to be honest, I'm one of them. Yeah. I would love to do that, but my excuse is I don't have the time. Exactly. Oh yeah. I don't have the time to do it. And that is, that's fucking awesome. That's
it's hard because I didn't ever expect it to be this. I thought it would be, maybe 10, 20 students a month at tops. And then it became this. But as it got bigger, I realized that I got more help. And so that's really what it boils down to. If I didn't have Ty's training, or I didn't have Jimmy's tests, or I didn't, all these people, HVAC simulator is a big one. If I didn't have an HVAC simulator to teach on, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So yeah, it's a lot of work, especially for me, but it's a lot of work for everybody involved. It really is. So it takes a lot of heart and a lot of giving and a lot of, this will always be free no matter what we do. So we've never ever thought of monetization even being a thing other than to hire people maybe someday. So none of us are ever thinking about how do we make money out of this. We're all just thinking about how do we keep this going for as long as humanly possible. I think that's what makes the difference.
That's awesome. You see what Nasty says, not to mention on top of all that stuff, she's a kick-ass friend in person too. So
some of my friends, I make them send me Sunday selfies. Nasty's one of them. Just to make sure my friends are doing okay.
No, that's good. And to know that you're doing all that stuff, talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. And the fact that you're doing all that, and I do it. There's a lot of things that I want to do, and I say that I want to do the podcast, but time or whatever. And to be honest, I'm not good at time management. I get things done, and I've learned to get better, but I'm still not good at it. So the fact that you can get all that accomplished, the next time I'm like, I don't have time, I'm going to be like, fuck that, because Jenn's probably, I know it's 3:00 in the morning, but she's probably putting a lesson together right now for somebody. So suck it the fuck up, Gil, and get it done. So you just
more likely Jenn's passed out in a bag of Doritos. Let's be real.
So you deserved that Lady of the Trade award and some. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's awesome what you do. And then to know that you graduated from MIT, I'm like, Christ, that makes my community college degree look. Oh, that's right, I didn't graduate from community college. So yeah, I don't even have it.
It would be great if I had used it at all in the first 2 years since I graduated, but it all just slammed me at once. So I'm just now actually being a real engineer, and honestly, it's scarier, I think, than I ever imagined.
Oh, I bet. So real fast, because I don't want to go too long because we're already in an hour. Yeah. But so what exactly is your firm doing? Like when you're having these different projects, what are you doing with that?
So I'm a mechanical engineer. So right now I'm sticking to HVAC. I don't really go outside that boundary too much. I'm not there yet, and I know that. So I stick to what I know. And so right now I have 11 different companies out of state that I work for, where I do load calculations. I do manual JS&D, duct sizing, duct design. I even do material lists. Like I'll do the entire job from start to finish, like from bid to when it's time to start construction, including material list. So the company has to do nothing but take my information and go build it. And so, yeah, they pay me to do that. And then I have a bunch of different companies that I do their social media to. That is not so much engineering, but I do it for the firm. It's something that I offer through the firm and not through my company. And then I do a lot of consulting. So like airflow stuff and problem houses, things like that.
That's, damn girl, I feel so unaccomplished when I talk to you. Jesus. No, but see, it's awesome. And so many things that, I didn't even know to learn. Like that's cool. And when I started digging into HVAC, like I always knew like HVACchicks, and I knew it because of you. But when I started looking into it, and I was just like, holy shit, like this is legit. Like this is a lot of stuff. And I saw how many people involved. And I think that's amazing. Like, and to be honest, I would love to offer my help to do it, but I won't do that until I move, when I know things are settled down. But I love training. This is helping.
People. This right here. There are people who watch your show, Gil, that didn't know we existed, and now they know that they have access to free training and free resources they could need. We do everything from finding you a job, finding you an apprenticeship, finding you a resume, making it with you, whatever it is that you want to do, we'll get you there. And it's all free. And there's so many people that don't know about that. And that 310 students or not, that's only 310 people out of 8 billion. So the more we do things like this, that's the biggest help anyone could ever possibly give me.
Yeah, well, if I can help, so if you let me know like some kind of link, I'll add it into all my show notes so people know that they can get to it.
HVAChicks.com. That's it. Michael J. Hausch actually bought us HVAChicks.com domain. You can sign up right there for your training plans.
I remember you saying that. That's awesome. And if you have anybody in the Maryland area that is ever looking for a job,
We do.
Reach out to me, because even if I am not currently hiring, there's not anybody who does HVAC in this state that I don't know. So
awesome.
I'll
a huge help.
Yeah, I'll point them in the right direction. Yeah, no, that's amazing.
That'd be huge.
I was gonna say, do you let Hughes hold the award? You let him take pictures with it and selfies?
Hughes is always welcome to my awards. And also, I will say that without Ryan like talking me down from a lot of my anxiety and my craziness, I probably wouldn't have got that award. So, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's a good dude, man. He really is. He and it sucked that he left early, being able to see people. And that's one thing I said. And the post that Craig made about me, like, I was just, I was like, holy shit, man. But, which I appreciate, because I really value my friendship. A guy that I used to watch on YouTube and share with my, people I was teaching. And now to be able to pick up the phone and call him, and he's a friend and supposed to go do something.
That's how I feel about you, Gil.
Oh, well, thank you. But see, that's what I love. Like, going to HR, the symposium or whatever it is, like, seeing the new tools and the technical stuff is awesome, but it's the relationships that you build.
Yeah.
Like, some of my best friends in the world are because of this podcast and because of the people I've got to meet that I absolutely love. They don't live in my state. I don't see them every day, but I talk to them all the time. Like me and Rookie.
That's my only friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Have become friends. And sometimes we don't talk as much, but when we do talk, it's like we never stopped.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Like Brett Wetzel's my best friend.
Brett's awesome. And Brett is, oh my God, he's fucking hilarious. We ate dinner the last night. It was me, him, Ty Branderman, and then Craig, and and all his people that do the stuff with him. What is it, Brandon and his wife, and then obviously Scott was there. And some of the stories that Brett says, he's a fucking riot. He's he
makes it so impossible for me to be professional sometimes that I'm like, don't come, stay away from me.
Yeah, and he's such a smart dude. Like, he is extremely, extremely smart. And it's so funny. Like, he came on and we did a show, and he was supposed to come back on the following night. And my son bought tickets to the Orioles game. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, all right, man, we'll go. And Brett still bust my balls about that.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I'm not important enough, so Gil cancels on me. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, did you know that's not true? He's like, I know, but I'm never going to stop saying it.
Brett busts my balls every second of my life. I crashed my truck into a gas pump once, and you would think I do it every day. And just, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's my wife hits mailboxes. And I'm like, they're always in the same spot. I'm like, they don't just jump out in the road. So that was definitely your fault. Just saying.
I physically took, like, with my wheel well, I took the gas pump pylon with me. Like,
oh shit.
It was bad.
Well, it's funny. Like I was saying, the podcast I did last night with those people, it's called Inferno Armor. It's a spray.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, well, this spray seems awesome. The whole time I'm watching it, like, my inner 10-year-old pyro's coming out. Like, when this stuff comes in, I'm going to be trying to light my hand on fire. Like, I'm going to get myself in trouble. And it was funny because after the podcast ended, the guy, Mr. Kevin, he was like, hey, man, he's like, I know you were joking. He's like, but please be careful. I'm like, oh, don't worry. I will. He was like, 'cause I don't want you, like, burning your fucking pants off or something. I'm like, I can't make too many promises, but.
I was kidding, but it's fine.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be lighting some shit on fire. What's up, Logan?
Yeah, for sure.
Logan, one of my Bluon friends. Logan Marshall's the man.
Logan is my favorite person from Bluon by far.
Yeah, he's they're awesome. And that's why I love, and and what you do, like, obviously what you do when it's free, and Bluon's obviously, got to be paid now. It's not free anymore. Trying to work through some different things to make it affordable for people. But I just love that kind of stuff being out there, because so many younger techs, are getting out there and they're fucking lost. They're not getting the proper training. Yeah. Trade schools are kind of, not every trade school is like the one Jimmy's at. And just knowing that they're not alone out there now, that somebody actually does give a shit and is willing to help, I think is awesome.
Oh, I have people that call me every day. Like I have techs that are out there that their companies threw them to the wolves, and they just have nobody to ask. And if they do ask, they're reprimanded for that. And they call me every single day, or they call Val, or they call Dirk, and we all know them like first name basis. I actually recommend that anybody who wants to have a good time take my tech support line for one day, because it is the best thing I do. It is so much fun. We have 100% diagnostic rate. We have never lost a system. Every single system that anyone has ever called about, we have fixed it. And it's because we don't quit. We stay right on the phone with them until we figure it out. And like these people are just hearing their minds explode. Like, oh, I get it. That's why I got to go call my boss. Like it's amazing. I recommend everybody try it at least one day in their lives.
That's awesome. I think I'm just going to randomly call. So
people do that too.
Outlaw said, Gil, how do I get my local supply houses on Bluon? So the biggest thing that you should do, and you said Outlaw's name is John?
Yes.
So John, what you should do is, if you have to, I'll talk to him. But so the thing is
I won't either, just for the record.
Yeah, and it's crazy. So the supply houses do have to pay a little portion when they use it, but they get access to all of Bluon's stuff. So Bluon's system, I have access to it. I can use it, where I can go in and put in any kind of model number, and everything that I can, every part, every little thing about that system automatically pulls up. So I'm trying to get him, but he's a busy guy and he has a child that's got some issues. But one of my good friends, Berman, well, not issues, but I know the baby, when it was little, had some health issues they had to go through. So he is the manager of the local Johnstone that I go to, one of my really good friends, and I talk them into doing it. And he loves it. I'm going to bring him on the show when he has time so that you guys can hear.
I would love to watch that, yeah.
I think that's going to be impactful for what they do. And the way we work is like things that I still buy stuff directly from Johnstone because I don't want them to have to pay, like some of the orders I know I'm going to do. But all of my techs, their truck stock, they go through the Bluon app and they put it on. And if they order it before 2:30, it's at my shop the next morning. So that's how they all do their truck stock. And then if there's
we don't have Bluon delivery here at all.
Oh.
Like our parts stores deliver, but we don't have Bluon delivery. So every time if I go to make an order, it tells me that I have to pick it up. Even though I don't, if I call the parts store directly, they'll deliver it. But it's just like a glitch in the system. Because I'm in Maine, everything's so far away that they don't have a Bluon driver,
Well, it's probably because technically Bluon delivery is through a third-party company. As a matter of fact, it's actually this company, Curry, who does it. So that's probably, they don't, because it's spread out, they probably don't have drivers in that area. Where I am now, I'm fortunate enough that, I can get whatever I want. Yeah, and track it like I'm, ordering a fucking sub or something. So it's cool, but you only use that when you need it, but it's awesome to have that feature to be there. But, what's really good is just the manuals. It's amazing. And you doing tech support, it's amazing how many people, if they read the manual, they would answer the question that they're asking.
Yes, absolutely. RTFM, baby. RTFM.
Yeah, exactly. Read the fucking manual.
You can get it on Bluon. You can get it on Manual's Library. You can get it on Parts Town. There is no fucking excuse not to read the manual.
Exactly. Like the guy that I used to work for that I, grew as a tech under, when I became a manager and running that, he said, Gil, like what he would do, he's like, Gil, if somebody calls you and they haven't read the manual, tell them to read the manual and then call you back. And me, I constantly just want to help them and stuff like that. But it's amazing how many times I would say that and they never call back.
Right,
so
because they got it.
Yeah, and
a lot of the time, what tech support is, like a special manufacturer tech support, it's literally the flow chart in the back of the manual. And they'll ask you the same questions in the same sequence. And so if you can get to the flow chart in the back of the manual, you're giving yourself that same tech support. That's for sure. Let me read it to you, Rye. Just call me and I'll read it to you.
You mean the knee pad that the manufacturer provides?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
The bee killer?
Yeah, I thought that was knee pads. Guys, if any of you, because we're past an hour, if any of you have any questions that you want to ask or something that you want to say to Jenn on here, please put it in all caps and we'll cover that real fast before we end this. I don't want to keep this woman too long, especially when I hear about all the shit that she does, which is crazy. But I will say this. I'm so glad that I wish that we could have spent more time together, with you and Val. But I think it's awesome meeting you in person. You 100% deserve the Lady of the Trade Award. And I think that it's absolutely amazing, all the stuff that you're doing, girl. I mean, really, it is not even just, spotlight in women in the trade, but just people in general, just moving people in the right direction. Because like I said, talk is cheap. And the fact that you're doing it, even though it's not easy, you got to be uncomfortable to grow. And the fact that you're doing that is fucking amazing.
Hate that. For me, I was scared breaking into this trade, and I was scared, especially on the social media, because I'm a woman and people didn't want me here at first, but I was able to somehow earn that respect. And since I don't know what I would do without this community. Like this, you guys are my real friends. You guys are not just like my internet friends. Like you guys are really it for me. And being able to help anybody that calls makes them part of that. It makes every single person that calls me part of that community, and it just makes it bigger and bigger. And eventually, maybe we won't have these old heads that don't want to share knowledge with younger kids. Maybe we'll have a community where we can all share that knowledge. That's my goal.
Yeah. Oh shit, you can't read it. Let me make this bigger.
Ash Kills. Yes. I didn't get to meet her. I did see her. I didn't get to meet her though. I was pulled around for almost all of my Chicago trip, from one booth to another, one place to another. And then same thing in Florida. So I just didn't have enough time. So I'm fixing that next year. I would love to meet Ash Kills though, for sure.
Yeah. There's never enough time.
No.
Chris Young says, does she prefer centrifugal or screw, and why?
You're funny, sir. Well, it depends on the application, first of all. But I'll always prefer a good screw. No, it depends. It really does depend on the application. I will gladly work on either or. They're both great compressors. It just depends on what you need it for. Yes, we family just work. That's right.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I met him and I didn't even realize, because sometimes you don't know people's faces when they're in the comment section, and I feel bad. And Rookie was like, he was like, that's just work. I was like, oh shit, dude. I'm like, what's up, bro? Like, I'm like, I'm so sorry.
It happens to me too. I'll get students out of my podcast, and then like I'll teach them for months before I'm like, oh my God, you're this person like that I talk to every night in my podcast.
That's awesome. That makes me want to make training videos even more, because that's what I love to do. Like plus it makes me better. I don't know everything by any means, but I love doing that. And I love when you're teaching somebody and they have that aha moment. Like, that it clicks.
That's everything.
It's so satisfying. Like, yes, like we've been working on this hard, but they finally get it. And I just think that's rewarding.
If you did that, so many people would watch them just because they're so like that, you already have a built-in go-to platform where you wouldn't even have to sell yourself on it. People would just automatically watch them. And I would literally die to have those in HVAChicks learning plans. Like I would die for it. So
I'm definitely going to do it. Like I said, whenever we get the house, we got some more I'm going to look at houses again tomorrow night. But I'm going full Joe Rogan on the studio, because I want to start having more people in. Like I'm going to have something like this where it's just me, but I want to have a space where I can bring local people in and talk to them and hear their story and why they got into the trade. Like I love hearing that. And just so people know, I want to say this again, because somewhere it was floating around that you had to have a following or be an influencer to be on this podcast. And that is the farthest from the truth. That is not true. I will interview anybody as long as you have a story to tell. Obviously don't come on and be like, you know what I mean? As long as we can have a conversation, I'm good. All right, here, we'll do a few more. And diesel does not go in an oil tank. K1 is kerosene.
So I had to explain. So it was a little too late, but I told him, yes, you can use off-road diesel in your oil tank for small amounts of time. And I told him dyed diesel, it's red. He's like, I can only find yellow. I can only find the yellow. I can only find the yellow. And I said K1 like 10 times. And this motherfucker really went and put regular diesel in his, and I told him it's going to overheat. It's going to be way too hot. It's going to melt shit. Like it's going to be bad. He puts regular diesel in because he can't find K1. Sure enough, the very pump next to him was a kerosene pump that said kerosene. So here we are with a leaky high vent and all these things going wrong with John's boiler because he put diesel in it. But yeah, it was a good lesson learned. This is sometimes how I teach you guys.
Hey, sometimes you got to fuck up. And I tell guys when they mess things up, I'm like, hey, did you learn? Are you ever going to do that again?
Oh, yeah.
Nope. All right, then, man. It is what it is.
Yep.
I have a newer installer, so it was a shitty job. We had the heat pump, the air handler was like back in this corner. We had to move the electric water heater out of the way just to change the unit. Well, when the guys put the water heater back in, they didn't let it fill up all the way before they turned it on and blew the top element. I could not find the element. And this lady, it was Friday.
It's electric.
Yes, it's Friday night.
Oh.
This lady's 70-something years old. Apparently she has some kind of muscle condition where she's supposed to take hot baths twice a day with certain medication. And I'm like, I'll always do the right thing for the customer. So I bought a new water heater and we just changed the water heater for her. The guy was like, he was like, yo, I fucked up, didn't I? And I'm like, well, are you ever going to do it again? He's like, nope. I'm like,
yeah, right.
All right, then. It is what it is. So you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, there's been lots of those moments for me, but I will say sometimes the best way to teach is to let them fuck up on their own. And that's the thing. John flat out told me, he could have shut his mouth and he flat out said, Jennifer, there was a kerosene pump right next to me. He could have shut up and just had it be that, but
yeah,
good guy.
Hey, you're innocent until proven guilty, man. You don't give that kind of information until you have to.
He just knows I'm going to dog him for the rest of his life over it. So.
I think Brian Sanders has a good, is Brian one of your students too?
Brian is marginally one of my students. Brian is one of my students who is too smart for my training plan. So yeah.
Well, we'll start to end out the show with, why the fuck is this not coming up? There we go.
What do I want to be when I free up? I want to finally dive deeper into studying history. And I know that's a super nerdy thing to say, but I have always been a history buff and I do it to teach it. And I want to do it for myself. I want to go and do some digs and travel and visit old places. I want to do.
What did Chris say? Ask her why she won't give me a look at her training plans. Left my ass off.
So this is the motherfucker who goes on HVAChicks.com and he signs up for free training and says that he's a filter changer, specifically a filter changer, and that he cannot do anything else and he's too stupid when the motherfucker owns his own goddamn company. So if you're going to play me, I'm going to play you. Tell me something you want to learn and I will teach you. And it can't just be how to read.
Chris, you slide dog, you. No, but that's awesome. I'll ask you this: is so something like all the things that you do? Is there something else that you want to add or accomplish to what you're already doing?
Yes, absolutely. I would like eventually to be able to. I want HVAChicks to be bigger, but I want it to be its own school. I want to make it so we can monetize and I want to keep it free forever, but I want to be able to sell things like places in our training plans to companies. And I want to be able to hire people and I want to be able to give people jobs that are meaningful and that teach people that are in the industry. And I want to have the opportunity to only hire people from this industry to work at HVAChicks. And my old students, I want to give them the opportunity to train once they're feeling comfortable with where they're at, but I can't ask them to do that for free. So right now, the next step that I have to do is finding out how it is that I can monetize and then doing that correctly. So that is the only thing that I would like to add to what I currently have going on. It's going to be a long, slow process because I do want to stay free forever, but we'll figure it out. I want to be able to expand employment to HVAChicks.
That's awesome. So you can technically be like a nonprofit organization that way. Pay people, but you're not actually taking any money in. Exactly. But then you get all the tax breaks and shit like that.
The hard part about it is that it's so spread out. So it's not localized anywhere. So I would have to be able to collect donations from every state, collect donations from people of different tax brackets, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I'm working toward. I am going to go nonprofit for sure, but I just need to find out a way that I can do that where I'm not like super held back from, like, if there's a time where we want to be able to fundraise, we can do that without having to do it through 504 nonprofits. So there's stupid stuff in there that I just don't. The only reason I haven't done it yet is because I don't want us to be held back by anything. I want us to be able to do whatever we want to do. Like the shoe line. So we just got a shoe line. It's going to be Alive Shoes X HVAChicks. And we get to keep $30 profit on every pair of shoes. So we're designing our first one right now together. And that's one way to monetize. And like, just, I want to add a bunch of different ways that we can do the work and we can make the money and keep it right within HVACchicks. So we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I mean, I don't know how I would be able to, but if I can ever help in any way, please reach out. I'm down to.
Yeah. This right here helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I hope this gets out to, a lot of people to know that there's training there for them if you need it. And I know a lot of people reach out to me and do different, asking about training. Well, here is your answer. So say the website again.
HVAChicks.com.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I thought it was, but I was like, shit, I don't want to say it wrong. And don't forget about.
I just remember it as heating, ventilation, and air chicks. That's the only way I can do it right every time.
Yeah, and don't forget about. I want to do a VETO bag to your students.
Yeah.
So let me know how you want to work it,
amazing.
and we'll make that happen.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so I won't keep you, but like I said, I'm so happy you came on, Jen. I think that you guys are fucking awesome. I love what you're doing about making a difference and all that kind of stuff, and it's awesome. I love seeing people do that kind of stuff and they don't ask for anything in return. And that's what makes it so powerful, that you do it, you help people. You're not doing it for financially. You're just doing it to help people and move it in the right direction. And that's so commendable. So kudos to you.
Well, it helps my industry, so it's not for nothing.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that so much. Thanks so much for having me on, Gil, because I will say this is the one podcast that I've been like, I want to go on Gil's show.
Yeah, no, hey, you're always welcome to come back on here. Obviously, the stuff with
Same with you and Misfits.
Yeah,
we had a good time.
I'll come back on because Ryan put in there earlier. I was the first guest, which I'm honored to do that. Yeah. Like I appreciate when people ask me to come on their show. It's weird, after hosting for 10 years, it's different to be the guest because I'm used to controlling the show and
not talking about yourself too.
Yeah. So when I'm the guest, I'm like, I get too long winded. I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing what I tell people not to do. Like, hold on. But it is.
Well, luckily when you're on Misfits, there is no wrong way.
Yeah, true. Well, Brian told me so. I don't know if it's true, but he said something to me there. He's like, yeah, I need you to come back on because when you came on the first time, I had a couple of beers. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm down, bro.
He was a little nervous our first guest night. But I will say I would like you to come back on because we've all grown so much since then. And I think it would be really cool to touch back with that from our first guest to now,
Yeah, no, I would love to. Plus, I've had the idea with a bunch of people, like different hosts of podcasts, different influencers, and I was talking to Jeff about it, about one night doing just a hangout where a bunch of different people come in and we just talk and bullshit. And I think that's fun. It doesn't have to be a podcast or anything, just to hang out and bullshit and talk about stuff, whatever it may
live
be.
Stream.
Yeah, and people love that. And then you have a whole bunch of different audiences coming to one, and you can move it around on different people's channel. It's not just one person's channel, but I just think that would be awesome, and it benefits everybody.
That's a really great idea. I love that. We would be down for that for sure.
Cool. I have good ideas every once in a while. And then I have a bunch of shitty ones after that.
Yeah, right.
That's what my wife says.
You guys think I have all these great ideas. You should see the shitty ones.
Yeah, well, exactly. As long as enough of them hit, it's all right. It makes up for the shitty ones,
True.
But all right, girl, I'm going to close this out and let me know when those shoes come out so that I definitely want to try to get some
for sure.
if it's supporting you guys.
I will. And I'll get at you about the VETO giveaway too.
Yeah, and I keep saying this, but I'm actually going to do it before we get the HVACchick shirts I can get from the same website, correct?
Yep, from 207customs.com actually for that one. I'll send it to you. I'll text it to you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I got to so I made those shirts. I got to get some more stuff. And the only reason I even do the merch is because people want it. Otherwise,
that's why I do it too. We don't make anything off of ours.
Yeah,
We
well,
literally, I let her, my best friend rents a spot here. She does all my merch on her website, and I just let her keep the money. So it works out pretty well for all of us. Everybody gets their merch. So that's what I care about.
That's sweet. Yeah, I just didn't want to turn into a t-shirt salesman, but it's awesome seeing people, rock your brand and stuff like that. And normally I'm wearing my friend's stuff more than I wear my own stuff. That's just the way it is.
Like I'm in HVAC school right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, my wife said because
I'll send you one, and I'll just send you one, and you send me one of yours when you get some in or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's fine because I still have hats. The shirts are probably gone, but my wife didn't understand.
Fine. I'm a hat girl.
I bought all those shirts and hats. I spent like a couple $1,000s for all that stuff, and she's like, "You're just gonna give that away?" I'm like, "Yeah, babe, it's a tax write off." You know what I mean? Like I gotta. Every year I've went and people have given me stuff, but I've never given anything back out. Oh my God, sorry. I have to show this one before I thank you again because Sam's funny. This is hilarious.
HVAChicks powered by Crocs and Gardenburger for those of you listening to the audio only. That's what Sam says. So true. So true.
Hilarious.
These Crocs make us run super fast though. So
let me see, Everett. Would you wear my shirt, big guy? I would absolutely wear your shirt, but can I have the one with sleeves, Everett? I like sleeves on my shirts. I know you like to cut them off. I got to get some more stuff because there's so many people that I didn't get.
You could actually reach out. I could talk to my girl. So what she does is she makes them by order. So like there's not like a box of HVAChicks shit sitting somewhere or Misfits of HVAC shit sitting somewhere. Like as somebody orders it, she makes it and ships it right out. I do nothing. I do absolutely nothing. And if you want, like you can set your price and she'll give you your percentage. She keeps hers, like whatever. But then you wouldn't have to keep boxes of it around. You don't have to pay up front. Your followers or whoever wants one just pays it. It works out really well for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, let me know. I'd love to do that because the stuff that I originally ordered, I got from Adam. Overtime, yep. Adam. I got it from his guy in Chicago, which was good, but I had to put out the money to buy it. And I told my wife, I'm like, if I buy all the stuff, will you ship it out? And she's like, I'm not doing your fucking t-shirts. I'm like, all right, fine. Never mind.
I just don't have time at all. So, and she owns a company that does it, and she literally works in my office. So I'm like, why would I bother with any of that? So we have giveaways. She just ships it out. I tell her who the winner is. She gets it ready, ships it out, sends it. I don't have to worry about it. She makes all of it by hand, like mint.
Oh yeah, no, that's sweet. Yeah, hook me up, and especially if you know, support it so she can help.
Absolutely, I teach her son. So
there you go.
It's perfect.
Even more the merrier. So that's cool. Yeah. I've said this before. So thank you, Jen. I love you, girl. You and Val are amazing. I can't wait to be able to spend more time with you guys. You're always welcome here, and I'll tell Ryan to get off his ass and get me back on your show.
Hell yeah, we got some spots open, so let's do this. I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Doing what you're doing. Keep kicking ass, girl.
Will do.
All right. Man, guys, that is so awesome, man. Jen's a fucking rock star as far as what she does. And the fact that of everything that she does, like she does more than I even thought. So there's a reason all these people are here to see her tonight for very good reason. All the people she's teaching. So that's awesome, man. It is truly, truly awesome. And it makes me feel good as somebody who's been in this trade for a while and knowing that people can get the training that they need and they want. And it's good training that's actually helping them. Because we always bitch about trade schools and stuff like that. Well, do something about it. Jen actually is. So that's awesome. So if you don't follow her, please go do. I know that all of you in here do follow her, but for some reason, if you're listening on the audio and you do not follow Jennifer Manzo, so HVACchicks Jennifer, you can go to HVACchicks.com, and that's where you can find her free training. Please take advantage of that. And when you go there, let her know that, Gil sent you. That way we can get some people over there getting the training that they need. Thank all you guys for coming, man. I appreciate everybody coming here. 3 shows this week. It was a good time. And just so you know why we had 3 shows is Jeff's a good friend of mine. Can't do Wednesdays because of something with his wife. So that's why we did it Monday. And then last night, those guys, I had to cancel on them for something. So I didn't want to make them wait. HVAC Hicks. Oh, Jesus. So, guys, please make sure you go and support what Jenn is doing because that is absolutely amazing. And then make sure on Saturday nights you check out her and our good friend, Mr. Hughes, man, HVAC, Ryan Hughes, on the Misfits of HVAC podcast. They do an amazing job. It's so awesome to see all the new podcasts that have come up over the years. You know, I can count on one hand how many HVAC podcasts there was when I started. And I love seeing all these people doing these new shows. It's amazing. I love seeing the new shows. That's why I've helped a lot of people because it's amazing for our trade that pretty much every single night there's somebody that you can go watch their show and you can hang out and the community keeps living on. You know what I mean? Of course, Ryan, I appreciate you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And seriously, let me know, man. I'll come back on whenever. Thank you, Everett. I love you too, brother. Keep doing your things too, you know. Check out Sales Tales with Everett. He was on last week with his show. So that audio podcast will be going out this Monday. But that being said, man, please follow me on all the social media sites. I'm going to be, so actually, I'm glad I said this, tomorrow on Instagram, I am going to be making a post to win this bag, okay? This is the TPLC. So I'm going to make a post to be able and tell you what you have to do to win this. So you guys have first dibs, man. All right. Instagram tomorrow, I will make a post. I will let it run for a couple of days and then I'll ship it out. And then at the same time I do that, I'm going to ship out the little winners of those short Pro Tools so I can get those out too. And who knows, I might be shipping, 2 things to somebody. You never know. And I also have a bunch of other video stuff to give away and I have some stuff coming. All right. So I want to try to make sure that I get those away. All right. So make sure you follow me on all those sites. Facebook, yes. If you can follow the podcast, the HVAC Uncensored Podcast, that helps. And then Instagram and TikTok is important. I'll be honest, HVAC Uncensored Nation, I don't go in my group as much as I used to because people get a little testy. I pop in every now and again, but I'm more on Instagram trying to build that up, just so you guys know. That's where you'll see me. Exactly, Logan. I appreciate you. And as always, man, I want to say thank you to all of my sponsors who make this show possible, man. I really, really do want to thank them. Obviously Logan, so Bluon, Yellow Jacket has been my OG. They've been supporting me since before I started podcasting, believe it or not. Amazing, amazing people. CompanyCam, True Tech Tools with the discount code Uncensored to save 8% on your order. VETO Pro Pack. HOUSECALL Pro, like they're all companies and products that I use. I will never offer you, or I don't even want to say offer. I will never use a sponsor or say something to you guys that I don't use or do myself. Believe it or not, I have turned down probably tens of thousands of dollars from sponsors because I don't use their products. I don't use their services. And a couple of times I've broken my own rule and I've actually done it and I've regretted it. So I will never, ever, ever do it again, ever. If I don't use the tool, the product, the service, I'm not going to offer it to people. It's just that simple. So, yeah. With that being said, I'm going to start to close this mofo out. Guys, remember, be safe out there, all right? We all got somebody to make it home to, and I want you to make it home the same way that you left. We live in a crazy world, whether it's car crashes, people getting hurt on the job. Just don't be in a rush and don't have those blinders on, man, where you're getting electrocuted. You're walking past and getting cut by a piece of sheet metal. Whatever it is, just please be careful, all right? I want to know that all my HVAC brothers and sisters out there are making it home at the end of the night. All right, whether I know you personally or not. Remember to do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. Put up or shut up. You know what I mean? Keep trying to be the best version of you. Keep trying to get better at what you're doing. Even if it's a hobby, just do something to make yourself better, because if you're not getting better, there's no such thing as staying the same. All right? You're either moving forward or moving backwards. You can't stand still in life. So have that motivation to keep getting better. Take an online class. Maybe it's HVACchicks, their training. Maybe it's listen to a podcast here, Misfits of HVAC. Maybe it's, Reliable HVACR podcast. It's Overtime. It's, If you're running a business, it's the Service Business Mastery Podcast. My friends at HVACchicks. That's what I want to say. If you guys have not checked out my friends, Rich and them at HVACchicks, they are some awesome dudes. Go check out their podcast. I don't think they do as much video. It's more audio, but they are awesome dudes. And a lot of people don't realize they are the original OG first. I'm pretty sure it's the first. Or maybe I think it's the first year the podcast award was out there. They were the first podcast of the year winners. So go check them out. They're good friends of mine, and they do an amazing show, and they're funny as hell. But with that being said, I love you mofos. And this time, until next week, I'll talk with you mofos later. And make sure Instagram tomorrow to win yourself a veto bag. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to each and every one of you who support me. You guys mean the world to me. The ones that show up every Monday, every Wednesday, the ones that download the podcast. Thank you so much. I really, really do truly, truly appreciate you guys. All right? Stay safe. See you.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
And also, thank you to all of my moderators, Mr. Hughesman, HVAC. Apparently, the Restream bot is a moderator. Mr. HVAC Rookie, and Mr. Jason Johnson. Thank all of you guys who were here tonight. Stay safe, guys. See you.